Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
Tracy Lynn, and this is our summer-long staycation destination series. Every Friday during the Noon Report, we'll spotlight a staycation destination that's not far from home and won't break the bank. This week, we're taking you to the Jell-O Gallery Museum in LeRoy, New York.
My name is Sydney Harvey, and I am a docent at the Jell-O Gallery.
It's one of America's most well-known desserts, but most of us don't know the story behind Jell-O. Would you tell us?
Sure. Jell-O was invented here in LeRoy, New York in 1897 by a man named Pearl Bixby Waite, and it changed hands a few times. It hit its first $1 million mark in 1907 and was sold for $66 million in 1925. And the manufacturing stayed here till 1964, and today they're owned by Kraft Heinz, and there's so many little tidbits of information throughout that whole over 100-year history that it kind of fills our museum with lots of color and fun.
Absolutely. And would you tell me the inventor's name one more time?
His name is Pearl Bixby Waite. He was a carpenter who dabbled in herbal teas and remedies, and it's interesting because most people think that it's a woman because of the name Pearl.
Yeah, a character-building name for sure.
For sure.
So why did he sell his rights to Jell-O, and then what happened to the factory here in LeRoy?
So he sold the rights to Jell-O because he wasn't doing very well selling the individual boxes. He was the local medicine man and carpenter, so he was pretty good at selling herbal teas, remedies, cough syrups, elixirs, but he couldn't quite market Jell-O properly. And he sold to another local LeRoyan named Orator Francis Woodward for $450 just in 1899.
That was probably a lot of money in 1899.
I do know that Pearl built a house with that money. So
wow.
If you could imagine, at that point it was the Genesee Pure Food Company that owned the Jell-O Company, and they moved everything over to Dover, Delaware, just to have a larger compound for their products. And at that point, Genesee Pure Food Company had a lot of different products at that time, so they needed larger facilities.
Will visitors also get to see how it was processed?
We have a lot of oil paintings that were commissioned that actually walk you through the process of making your own Jell-O. It was a big marketing tactic that they used where they would show children making Jell-O up at the stove. So you kind of get to see a little bit about the process that it used to be and then the ease of what it is today, which is always really interesting.
And is it true that, I remember seeing something on TV about a calf, the calf jelly or something?
The calf's hoof jelly.
Yes.
The collagen that's inside the bone marrow in many different livestock is one of the main ingredients for gelatin. It gives it the wiggle and jiggle. So that's why they would use calf's hoofs. It didn't work as well as other things that they've tried.
And so has it always been called Jell-O?
Yes. In 1897, when Pearl invented Jell-O, his wife May actually came up with the name. But the gelatin dessert have been around for thousands of years even. They just weren't instant and flavored. They took days to make, and you had to really do all that on your own. So the name Jell-O actually is just with this product.
Sydney, what were the original taste options, and which is the favorite Jell-O flavor today?
There were 4 originally that Pearl created: strawberry, raspberry, orange, and lemon. And because we take a poll of all of our visitors, the favorite right now is strawberry, with cherry looming in just behind.
It's just fun to know what people are really enjoying. So is it true that someone actually tested Jell-O for brainwaves?
Yes. In 1976, a man named Adrian Upton, he was a university teacher in Hamilton, Ontario. We aren't sure why, but he did an EEG test on a mold of lime Jell-O, and he found that they had identical microvoltage frequency waves, which is about 8 to 12 per second. And then about 20 years ago at St. Jerome's in Batavia, they recreated the study on St. Patrick's Day because of the lime Jell-O color, and they found the same thing.
So it's similar to brain waves.
Yes, which brings a whole new meaning to the movie The Blob from the 1950s with Jell-O's alive.
And to watch a wiggle, see a jiggle.
Yes.
So when can visitors experience the Jell-O Museum, and what does it cost?
So the Jell-O Museum is open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 4 and Sunday from 1 to 4. And those are our hours from April until December. January through March, we aren't open on weekends. It's $5.50 per person, and children ages 5 to 10 are $1.50. Under 5 is free. We also do have a AAA discount for our adult members. Instead of $5.50, it's $5 per person.
Great. Sydney, and where can we learn more about the Jell-O Gallery Museum in LeRoy, New York?
We have a website, www.jellogallery.org.
Is there anything else you'd like to share, maybe that we didn't mention or that you just find interesting yourself?
We have a transportation exhibit as well as our Jell-O Gallery. Our transportation exhibit, because we're owned by the LeRoy Historical Society, it just displays different modes of transportation throughout the years that this has been a town. So there's sleighs, carriages, and a 1905 Cadillac. And then we also have the LeRoy House, which is a separate building, and that discusses the history of the town. Many people don't know that there used to be an all-women's university from the 1800s here in LeRoy, and so there's a whole display about that. When you come to the Jell-O Gallery, you get to experience a wide variety of history.
We hope you've enjoyed coming along on our staycation destination. You can hear all the podcasts online. Join us next week as we visit a new spot in New York or PA.